I'm back! I'm back! I've been wanting to film so bad. So, if you didn't know already, I've been fighting off New York's biggest enemy, which is pollen. And guess what? I fought it off with these two hands. Talking about some very juicy stuff, and that is how I became unemployed right before my trip to Italy. Literally the days after I booked my flight, I was on the verge of losing my job. You know, became obsessed with Italy. I started researching it. I started telling my friend, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. And she's like, just give me a budget, let me know. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I even said, I was like, I have my job, I should be fine. Which, never trust that, because you could at any moment lose your current job. So my first big advice is save money. And well, not only was I working as a lifeguard, I was also quote unquote a supervisor of sorts, because in that time we were like managerless. We didn't have a manager until like one of these guys had to step in, but he was so busy and tied up that I offered myself to be, like the assistant per se. And so I was doing like three jobs. I was a lifeguard, a teacher, I was a swim teacher, and I was also back in the office. Fast forward, we finally do get a manager, and I was like, hey, I'm still going to do the assistant job, right? Is that okay? And she was like, yeah. I was like, also, would be nice if I, get like a little raise or something. And it actually went through. So that happens, and I'm like, great, now, I'm making a little more money. I'm set for Italy. I got this. Fast forward, we're talking about like our hours, how we're going to, coordinate between me, the assistant, and her, the manager. And she tells me, well, you'll basically work the days that I'm not in. I was like, that's perfect. Sure. But I do have an exception. I did not want to work weekends. No. That was a no-go. So I told her that. She's like, oh, no, it's fine. Because I usually do come in Saturdays. And if we can't come in... if I don't come in a Sunday, it's because I have something going on. But I'll let you know with time. And you could just cover me. And I'm like, as long as you can let me know with time, that's perfect. Fast forward, something happens in the pool on Sunday that I'm not there. One, she doesn't tell me that she's going in on Sunday. Two, the person the lifeguard that was on duty should have let me know that this went down. And the only way I find out about this is the director, and he emails me and he's like, where are you? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, yeah, where are you? Because someone almost drowned into that pool and they didn't have anyone there besides the lifeguard. And I'm like, first of all, I know nothing of Sundays because I don't work Sundays. So to my knowledge, I didn't even know there was like a little like birthday party type of thing going on. Second, no one told me anything. This was like the day after that he emailed me. And I'm like, what did you expect from me? Because from what I agreed, I wasn't working on Sundays. And anyways, that became like a awkward situation because it was always in the back of their heads. And if there's other things to mention, since I'm her assistant, I would, call people back that she wouldn't be able to talk to and email people back as well, because a lot of people inquire about swim classes. While I was checking emails. It's so funny because it's at the same time I'm like looking at flights. I see an email that says, oh, when are we going to tell her? And I'm like, when are we going to tell her what? So when I see that, you know, my first instinct is kind of talk about, like, you know, where everyone's headspace is at. So what happened, I was like, hey, is there something I should know about? And she's like, no, not necessarily, but I thought you would like come in on Sundays and things like that. And I'm like, we spoke about this. So days pass, and you know, there's still no like official meeting. And I remember this big day. So I go upstairs to the receptionist. Receptionists have a lot of info that you might not know about. He starts telling me all this stuff. So at this time, I call my mom. First thing, you always gotta call the closest person to you, right? Give her all the chisme. I was like, dude, I heard all of this. I'm really not feeling comfortable in this job anymore. If anything, I'll just find something else. So she's like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm leaving. Before I had that awkward conversation with these management people, I am going to just walk out. That's exactly what I did. I bagged up my stuff quietly. No one noticed. Literally bagged my stuff and called a taxi, and I went to my house. I have a picture somewhere. If I find it, I'm just gonna send it. I'm just gonna put it here. And yeah, so this happens right before my trip, basically. So you're probably wondering, how did I even manage to go on this trip? Well, I barely did, but thankfully, not too long after I left, I actually got to serve as a juror in jury duty. And I got a long case. I think it was like 2 weeks. So I ended up getting paid like $600. And bless those days because I didn't owe any bills. I missed those days. Because of jury duty I had, and you know, like the money that I saved, I got pretty far into the trip. But you know, big shout out to my buddy. She really helped me out. And as soon as I got a job, I was able to pay back everything. But man, it's crazy to think that so much went down before my trip. But you know what? I'm glad it did, because I realized so much. And what I want to do in the long run will be the budget and how I managed to score great flights to Italy, to Rome specifically, because flying to Rome is a little more pricey than Milan and some cities. So stay tuned, because I'm going to bring you that information next time.